This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax. No Grant today, unfortunately. He is off on assignment. He will be back with us again on Monday. So we will certainly miss Grant's presence here in the studio today. But I am joined by intern Laura, and we have Megan Landvatter with us as well. To kick off the show, Connor Christensen will join us later for his weekly Friday health tip. Talk a little Minnesota Vikings as well, like he always does. And then Zach Poppenfuss will also be back to defend his honor as our Bax and Grant Sports Show trivia champion. So make sure to check that out later on in the show. Remember, for all of you listeners, you can check out the show Monday, Wednesday, Friday right here on TuneIn Radio on Sports Radio America from 12 to 3 Eastern. You can also listen to us live Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Central on Spreaker. You can download our podcast on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at BG Sports Show. Email the show at bgsportshow@gmail.com, and make sure to like our Facebook page as well as at the Bax and Grant Sports Show. So, Laura, Megan, it's wonderful to have both of you here this morning. I appreciate you stepping in and filling Grant's hefty role that he does have on a show occasion. But some fun stuff to talk about today, and I know that both of you ladies are very excited to be here as well. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. One thing I want to talk about just to get the show kicking off this morning, and no pun intended about that, is something to do in the soccer world. As the FIFA president nominee, Luis Figo, a former Portugal international star, in his proposal to become the next president of the FIFA organization, he has proposed some changes to the World Cup. Whether or not they actually happen have yet to be seen, but he proposed 3 different types of expansions for the World Cup. The biggest one, though, is that he is looking to add 48 teams to the World Cup instead of the traditional 32. Now, the way that would work is that it would be 2 24-team tournaments played on 2 separate continents simultaneously. So picture 2 World Cups at the same time, but just on a smaller level. And then the final knockout round would be played in one single country. Now, this would certainly allow a lot of smaller nations to be able to sneak in. Sometimes we see, even in the last World Cup, teams like Sweden didn't get a chance to make it in because their qualifying in Europe did not go so hot. So it would be interesting to see something of this nature get added, because the World Cup already is very competitive with the 32 teams that do make it into the tournament. But with 48 teams, that would be very interesting to see and give other smaller nations a possibility to sneak in. So we'll see what happens with that once Figo determines whether or not he will become the next president of FIFA. With that, though, being said, we want to switch over to the NBA. A lot of fun stuff happened yesterday, Megan, and we know that for the Milwaukee Bucks, they kind of put a lot of people in surprise with their monumental trade they did yesterday. What exactly happened?
Yeah, throughout the season, there was talks about Brandon Knight and his development and how he was doing. And honestly, Brandon Knight was having a pretty good season. And so I was kind of surprised to see the Bucks go ahead and trade him. But actually, when you look at it, I think that the Bucks did a very nice job in this trade, simply because Michael Williams-Carter is very comparable to Brandon Knight. The statistics that they have are very similar, and Michael Carter-Williams is the reigning Rookie of the Year, so he obviously has a ton of potential. He's a young player. And then adding Tyler Ennis and then Miles Plumlee as well, which is a center from Phoenix. Tyler Ennis is another guard. But for me, the key was adding Miles Plumlee, the center, because as you may have heard, the Bucks are currently in the process of buying out their current center, Larry Sanders.
Yes, yeah, after kind of a weird circumstance with Sanders as well. Now, it's unfortunate, too, because this was a 3-team deal between the Phoenix Suns, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the 76ers, and the 76ers really didn't get anything out of it.
I'd like to know what the 76ers strategy at this point is, because you go from having this Rookie of the Year point guard, he has a ton of potential, and then all of a sudden you're just sending him away. And all they really got was future draft picks.
Yeah, and at that point, too, it's obviously that this year is a rebuilding year for the 76ers. Well, not really anymore. They have to rebuild even farther going into next season, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. But as Buck fans, I think getting a player like Michael Carter-Williams has to be exciting, especially after losing Jabari Parker at the beginning of the year. You had a potential Rookie of the Year candidate, and now you get last year's Rookie of the Year winner. And now you've got 2 other exciting players in Plumlee and Ennis as well.
Definitely. So really, essentially, the Bucks got, they traded 1 really great player, but they gained potentially 3 great players that could work out really well for them.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see exactly how Milwaukee finishes off the season. They are above 500 by several games. They have over 30 wins. They only had 15 total last season, so the fact that they've even doubled their wins already is very impressive. They had doubled their wins before the All-Star break, which is great. Some of the other big trades that happened, I think the one headline name that everybody was kind of excited to see happen was Kevin Garnett. He's going back to the team that drafted him so many years ago. He's leaving the Brooklyn Nets, and he is on his way back to the Minnesota Timberwolves. A player-for-player trade, no extra hoopla or draft picks or any of that fun stuff. So Thaddeus Young goes from the Timberwolves over to the Brooklyn Nets. So we'll see exactly how that deal works out. But it's weird because Garnett is not exactly a top player in the league anymore. So the fact that this deal happened is a little surprising.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting. Throughout the day yesterday, I kept getting notifications on my phone about Kevin Garnett and all these different things going on with him. And I was kind of surprised to see that he was in such high demand, given his age and, so it's interesting to see so much interest in him.
Yeah, and we'll see exactly where this goes for him and for the Timberwolves, because the Timberwolves are not that good this season. I think this was more of a sentimental move for Garnett, saying, hey, look, you started out your career here in Minnesota. We loved you. You were a focal point of our team for so long. Then you left. Not a big deal. There's no really harsh feelings from anything that I've been able to gather from it. So everyone's really excited to have him back. And we'll see what kind of the deal goes from there. So we'll see, if any of the big moves from yesterday really stand out. And it was funny to see even the reaction from NBA players on Twitter. A lot of them were like, this transfer deadline is, crazy. These players were joking, with each other on Twitter, like from different teams, like, dude, bro, did you get traded? Did I get traded? It's like, I don't know what's going on. There was so many. We saw a lot of 3-team deals yesterday. It was just really surprising to see the amount of players just getting shipped all over the place. If you're a 76ers fan, I guess you can be happy. You got Isaiah Kana and a second-round pick, but you sent KJ McDaniels over to the Houston Rockets. So
it's the 12-year plan in
it really is, because they're in no rush to do anything. But we'll see. We'll see if anything decides to come out of that for them. Megan, any other interesting insights about the Bucks at all as a whole moving forward after this crazy transfer deadline day?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see how they continue to play throughout the second half of the season. Like we mentioned, they're at 30 wins right now. They play tonight, so they're going to be returning. And, I think that this team, they should have no problem making the playoffs. If they continue to play at the level they're at, I mean, the East is fairly weak, and right now they have a 6th seed. So I think it'll just be interesting to see how things kind of pan out. But I think they really are headed in the right direction. I think this trade was a good move, like I said. I'm happy about them buying out Larry Sanders. When Jabari Parker returns next year, I think they're going to be really actually kind of good next year.
They will. It'll be an exciting Bucks team to watch. I did get a chance to go to a game earlier this season when they played the Knicks, so you can take that for what it's worth. They did win the game, which was nice, but it was really cool to get a chance to see guys like Jabari Parker work, and he is a lot of fun to watch, and that was just a few games before he ended up getting hurt for the season. But this Bucks team is a lot different, and you hear the buzz around the Milwaukee area of just how exciting the Bucks are playing. They're playing fundamentally sound, fast-paced, exciting basketball.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, I think there is a lot of excitement and hope around the Bucks, and I think a lot of people finally feel like this organization could do something special. So,
do you think the Bucks have what it takes to at least make it to the conference finals, or are we still another year or two removed from that?
I think we're a year or two removed from that. I think once you bring back Jabari Parker, I think they definitely have a chance to be one of the better teams in the NBA. And that may sound crazy considering it's the Bucks, but they have a lot of young talent right now. That's
true. All right. Well, Megan, we appreciate you stopping by today to talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks. If anybody wants to follow Megan on Twitter, you can check her out where, Megan?
At LonVotter812.
LonVotter812. You are also a journalist for Dairyland Express, a part of the Fansided Network, so check her out at DairylandExpress.com. She writes about all things Wisconsin sports, and make sure to check out her work there. We're going to take a fast break. When we come back, intern Laura's in the studio. She's going to help fill the shoes of Grant and see what we can talk about for that. She's got her rant today. She's filling in for Grant, so that'll be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss that. It's very fashionistic of her, so we'll see just exactly where she can take today's rant. This is the Baxter Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. This is Bax. No Grant today. He's off on assignment, but intern Laura's in the studio, and she's going to chat it up with us about an interesting article, Laura, that you found courtesy of Yahoo Sports about some not too nice stuff going on down at the University of Auburn. Tell us what's going on, Laura.
Yeah, Baxter. Well, it seems to be that there were two football players of the Auburn University team that were out and about on the campus, and they saw a woman with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and as she was walking, they began to harass her. And this woman had a dog with her, used as like a comfort that she would use. And they began to announce harassments at her, just saying vulgar things, and they even went as far to swear.
Wow.
And first when I heard this, Baxter, I thought to myself, well, how accurate can this really be? This woman, she obviously does have some mental disabilities, and so how does this affect how she perceived the situation? And I thought to myself, well, I want to know how accurately that is, but it does seem to be very legit, if you may.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because this veteran was sexually assaulted during her time with the U.S. Air Force, so it's a very touchy subject. The fact that anybody with PTSD is not exactly someone you want to mess with in any regards, because they are very fragile. They're in a very fragile mental state, and you don't want to go out of your way to cause them any harm, whether it's on purpose or not. And the fact that she even had a service dog, like there's a certain level of a line where you just don't cross it. I don't care who you are. You could be the president or you could be a college student. You just don't do something like this. And it's very insulting and not something that you see every day. And I even had a hard time, when you told me about this article, I had a hard time kind of figuring out the mental process of what exactly these two guys were trying to do.
Exactly, and as role models, I feel, both to others in their community and fans of Auburn University, this is not acceptable behavior that they are showing. But their coach, Gus Malzone, he actually had to go as far as to apologize for them.
Wow.
So I think that it was really great of him to take up this responsibility and actually apologize for them on their behalf.
Yeah, now, do you think that this article has drawn more attention because the veteran was a woman?
That's a very good point. I'm trying to reverse it and think about if the veteran was a man, how that would have changed. And I think so.
Yeah, and this can be spun in many different directions. If this was just a regular white male veteran, or if this was a black male veteran, or if this is a female. It continues to escalate no matter what. I think if this was just a general white male veteran, there would be maybe a little issue with it, but at the same time, now the fact that she's a female veteran getting harassed the way she was by two Auburn students, that just really irks you as me as a guy, saying that's not something you do. You don't make fun of women as a whole anyway, but then you don't make fun of a veteran, and you don't make fun of a veteran with PTSD. It's just not something you do, and it's very unprofessional. I honestly hope that the Auburn Tigers organization does take the proper steps to really punish these students, because that's not something you do. It's just very unethical and very surprising that two players would stoop that low, and I don't know exactly what the repercussions of this will be coming in the following season. Hopefully there'll be some sort of suspension or community service or something that they'll be able to do. Auburn University Director of Communications, Mike Clarity, did come out and say Wednesday morning that Auburn University condemns any behavior that is demeaning to those with disabilities. He said that they are investigating the reports and will take all the appropriate action once all the facts are known. Whether or not that actually ends up finding justice for the veteran that was harassed, we'll see exactly what happens with that. It's a sad world we live in, unfortunately, Laura. But
yeah, and I really hope that that their coach's example of this will really rub off on them, and that they also will be able to take responsibility for their actions.
I really hope so, because it's unfortunate to see something like this happen, because it's not something that you really hear. You think of a veteran, you think, hey, they went to war, they served in the Air Force, and then this veteran was sexually assaulted while she was in the Air Force. Even if you don't know that or not, the fact that you even see a person with a service dog, that is, for me, you almost want to go over and beyond the call of duty, as it were, to help that person or to be nice to them or even just thank them for their service. You don't start picking fun at them and making jokes that they were throwing at her. It's just, I don't know. It irks me. It irks me in all the wrong places. I'm just like, why? Why would you do something like that? And it just not good. It makes me want to rant, similar to what you're about to do, Laura. You are going to be filling in today for Grant's rant. So, Laura is filling in for Grant's rant today. We unfortunately don't have the soft, sultry voice that is Grant Coppersmith in studio with us today.
You're saying about my voice.
I'm not saying that it's not sultry. I'm just saying that there's a certain suave to Grant when he speaks, and it just I don't know. I miss Grant. I miss you, Grant. If you're listening, I miss you, bud, and I hope you're feeling better. And we will look forward to having you back on Monday. But anyway, Laura, you are going to get 30 seconds on the clock to rant about whatever you'd like in the sports world. And I did kind of give a hint that it is a fashion statement.
It really is.
In multiple ways. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Get set. Go.
Okay, so as you may know, I'm not very good with sports, but I was very aware of the Steelers throwback jerseys. Now, those... Can you just tell me what was up with those? I mean, they were like... Were they tigers or were they bumblebees just parading around on the field? That's what the vibe I was getting from that. I mean, of all things, I mean, like, you could wear anything. I mean, you could wear stripes. You can go Bengal tigers. You can like do something really good looking. But no, you went with a bumblebee look. And I just thought that was. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Not at all. Time is up. Wow. Well, what do you think of like the Packers throwback jerseys? They've got like that brown and
I like it.
Weird. You like that, but you're not a fan of the bumblebees.
No, anything the Packers does is acceptable.
Oh wow. You're one of those fans. Okay, it's like they can do no wrong.
Oh no.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Laura, we appreciate you filling in for Grant's rant today and everything that you do. We will have you back a little bit later on the show, just get some more insight from you. But we're going to take a quick break. Connor Christensen is in studio chatting about the Vikings and his weekly health fitness tip. And then remember, later on in the show, Zach Poppenfuss will be back to defend his honor, see if he can make it 3 weeks in a row as the Bax and Grant Sports Show Trivia Champion. This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Connor was doing the Heimlich on me during the break. I was choking on some water, which is great because you are our health expert. Connor, unless he wasn't actually doing the Heimlich. I'm okay, but I decided to forget how to drink water for a second, Connor.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
It happens to the best of us.
It
Even
does.
Thankfully, this is a radio show and not TV. Otherwise, I'd have been like, it would have been water everywhere.
True.
Thankfully, we avoided that. I saved face anyway. But Connor, we are here to talk to you today. Before we get to your health fitness tip, we're here to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. You are our Vikings expert and insider, and there's a lot of stuff going on with the Vikings right now. I feel like we're almost beating a dead horse with Adrian Peterson. Yet we continue to talk about him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's one that everybody loves to talk about.
Now, what exactly are people talking about Adrian Peterson right now?
Well, there actually are quite a few things being said about Adrian Peterson right now. There, the main voices in the Minnesota camp, the head coach, general manager, everybody that's important, is saying, look, we're done talking about Adrian Peterson. We want him on the team. That end of story.
Yeah.
I read an article earlier on NFL.com that said those exact words. We are done talking about Adrian Peterson. We want him on the team. And Adrian Peterson came out and said that he is uneasy about returning to the team. There are a lot of people in the organization that, here, let's use his exact words. Adrian Peterson says, there were people that I trusted who knew exactly what I said that weren't heard from. They weren't able to do anything about it. And what he's referencing there is that there were people that he trusted in the organization, people that he was talking to, who really wanted to voice their support for him that were unheard, that went unheard, that people were not listening to. And he was upset about it, and rightfully so. He also said that Minnesota as a whole kind of kicked him while he was down, and
Which is true. They
it
kind of did.
was, yeah. Unfortunately, and I am, a resident Minnesota fan.
Yeah,
and I have to say, Mr. Peterson, if you're listening, I never doubted you. I supported you. Anyway,
You wore your Adrian Peterson jersey proudly throughout the season as a Vikings fan.
Actually. You
caught some flack for it.
I
but
did.
It happened.
I did. People give you weird looks. You come out, 2 weeks after it happens, and you wear your Adrian Peterson jersey, and people give you mean looks. But whatever.
I feel your pain. 2 years ago, when Mason Crosby was having his
I
issues,
remember.
I wore my Mason Crosby
Yep.
jersey. That is the only Packers jersey I willfully own, is a Mason Crosby jersey. As a former kicker, I stood by him when he struggled, and look where he is now.
Well, we all knew that it was temporary.
Well, yeah,
with
kickers
him.
have issues
Exactly,
like that. It's just
exactly.
they go up and down. Maybe the balls were not properly inflated.
Maybe.
I know. I'm done. I'm not going to touch it. We're done with that. But it's interesting though, because with Adrian Peterson, he's such a big name. He's up there rival with guys like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, where you say his name and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like,
you
Adrian
stop
Peterson.
to listen.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you hear news about Adrian Peterson, the world stops what they're doing and they look up from whatever they're doing. Like, oh, something about Adrian Peterson. What's going on? So if he doesn't come back for some reason because of this fact that he feels like he was almost shunned by the organization, even though now everyone's like, oh, we want you back. We want you back. We've seen Zimmer. We've seen the GM. We've said even players on the team now are like, "Hey, come play, come play."
I mean, let's not say that it's coming out now. Turner, Zimmer, they've been saying from the start that they support Peterson and wanted him back. That's how it's been starting. Matt Asiata was one player who came out right away and said, "We support Adrian Peterson. We want him back on the team." So to say that it's starting now, I think is a little unfair for those who have been saying it all along.
Yeah, and exactly. So we'll see. And a lot of people want the opportunity to see Teddy Bridgewater and Adrian Peterson in the same backfield.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not that ends up happening or not, we'll see with that. But there's something happening on the other side of the ball. A man very well respected that has been the anchor of the Vikings defense for almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. I can't believe it's even been that long. He has just been such a consistent force. A man that does not receive a lot of press.
No.
In a good/bad way. Mm-hmm. Because he's not creating negative headlines, but he's also not going above and beyond to create positive headlines as well.
That's true.
Who is that man?
Chad Greenway is that man that you're talking about.
Yes.
He is an outside linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. He was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings in 2006, and he will be hopefully starting his 10th season with the Vikings, and it could be his last. He has been saying all along that he wants to finish out with the Vikings. He loves the Vikings, and nothing but respect for the Vikings organization, and that is where he wants to end. And the big question that came up was he was injured last year for a lot of the year, and the Vikings were wondering if they wanted to spend the money on him.
I feel like he's worth it, even if it is to come back for a year. I think you maybe draft a few young linebackers and say, look, you're going to go learn from Mr. Greenway now. You're going to follow him around. He is a 10-year NFL veteran, and you're going to listen to every single thing he has to say, and you're going to copy that and be the next Greenway.
Exactly.
Go.
Yeah, exactly. And they drafted Anthony Barr.
Yeah, who had a fantastic rookie year.
So I think they're going to do exactly what you just said. They're going to draft another one or two linebackers to learn from Greenway because he is a 10-year veteran and knows the position better than most.
He does. He really does. It's funny though, because Minnesota seems to have their act together. Take out Adrian Peterson, they got their act together towards the end of the season. They started to become a dominant force. They've got young wide receivers like Charles Johnson starting to emerge, and everyone's like, ooh, this Vikings team might be really good next year. And then, Connor, they decided to go do something. They decided to go out and bring in a very famous name, Mr. Brandon Bostic.
Yeah.
Why did they sign Brandon Bostic?
That is a wonderful question.
How many Viking fans are like...
Well,
like,
there's
why?
at least one.
Well, yeah, I know.
Right
when
here.
you told me that, you were
No
like, what
idea.
is this?
No idea. Because...
Green Bay is like, take him. Go ahead. You can have him.
Yeah. No, I will say this right now, Minnesota Vikings organization, if you're listening, you better be listening.
Coach Zimmer.
Coach Zimmer, come on now.
Ziggy.
If you start Bostic over Rudolph, I will be so mad because Kyle Rudolph is a wonderful tight end. He's a receiving threat. He's a blocking threat. He's an awesome tight end. He was hurt for a lot of last year, so he didn't get a whole ton of playing time, but he'll come back stronger than ever, and he will be a force to be reckoned with. And Brian Bostic, his mistake was twofold in that championship game.
But he's the next Jermichael Finley,
No,
Connor.
no, he's
he
not.
is just such a terrific wide receiver, a tight end. He just, the man has just the surest hands I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
I think
Well,
Kyle Rudolph will be on the bench. I am going to
see.
draft Brandon Bostic in NFL fantasy next year. That is how sure I am of how great he will be.
Well, Bostic doesn't even know what position he's supposed to play on special teams, first of all. And then when he goes up and tries to make the play, he can't do that either. So
You had one job, Bostic.
yeah, you had one job, and then when you change it into two jobs, you can't even do the other job that you put on yourself. So if you use him as a second tight end, just make him block. Tell him he's blocking. Make sure he knows he's blocking.
And
Don't
even
throw
then,
him the ball.
Duct tape his feet to the ground.
Well,
And I don't know how that would work on
yeah,
turf.
yeah.
Probably wouldn't stick to it. You might need some like Gorilla Tape or something, maybe to stick him to the ground.
Super glue.
Super glue.
Super
Like,
glue.
ugh. But yeah, so 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know, you take it for what it is for the Vikings organization. Either way, they're in a great place heading into next season. And you and I were surprised about this too. There's a lot of positive talk about Jarius Wright.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, I have no idea.
When we play Madden, he's usually the first player we drop when we play with the Vikings.
Yeah, no,
we're just
yeah.
see ya. We don't need ya.
Yeah, exactly. He's been a player with the Vikings for a couple of years now. He's, in my opinion, never been extremely standout.
No, he will be a breakout receiver
You-
this year, Connor. Everyone's saying he will be.
Every time he would make a reception, I was, wow,
No.
way to go. Nice work.
This guy.
Yeah,
Wow.
but they're saying he's going to be the next superstar, and I've been saying this since I first heard it. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. And so far, I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
and
no.
I dare you to prove me wrong.
Ooh,
Definitely.
You hear that, Jarius?
I-
He's
I-
calling you out. He's calling you
I
out.
want you to prove me wrong. Please be that breakout wide receiver that the Vikings want.
Connor secretly hopes you don't, but he at the bottom inside, he's like, please,
Nah.
for the Vikings, just do
Exactly.
really good. Okay, well, Connor, it's time for your weekly health fitness tip. All right, Connor, refresh us real quick with what last week's was.
Last week was variety.
Variety. It's the spice of life.
It's the
as
spice
you-
of
as you
life
said.
and your workout.
And your workout.
Yes.
All right, so this week, what do you got for us?
Unfortunately, I don't have a V word.
Oh,
I couldn't
you're
find
killing
the
it.
3 V's of Connor's fitness
Because it was
plan.
visualization.
Visualization.
And now it's variety.
Yeah,
And now it's something else.
I couldn't think of anything. I will admit, I looked it up, tried to find words that started with V, but
you
I
Google
couldn't.
fitness tips that start with V?
No, I just went to a thesaurus, typed in my stuff, and hoped that a synonym that started with V
Okay.
would appear, but no such luck.
Fair enough. It happens.
So my weekly fitness tip is twofold today.
Okay.
And I could rant about this for hours.
I know you could.
But
Unfortunately, we don't have
I
hours.
will hold it to just a couple of minutes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the first fold of my fitness tip is to get educated about how to work out properly. And then the second fold is to go out and do it. Don't sit inside your house and worry about if I go to a gym, am I going to be ridiculed or looked down on for not knowing what I'm doing?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I hear all the time. And as someone who
You get ridiculed?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was
Wow.
like, wow. Okay.
You'd be surprised, actually.
Oh, okay.
The big jarhead, and they're out there. The big jarheads at the gym who see someone smaller than them, and look down on you. They are real. They are out there.
Sure.
However, you should surround yourself with workout partners and people around you that support you no matter what you're doing.
I support you, Connor.
Thank you, Max.
You're-
But there are means to educate yourself on how to work out properly. Honestly, just going to YouTube and typing in fitness tips, you'd be surprised how many really smart people you'll find out there. Another great resource is bodybuilding.com. And it's not like, hey, I want to, be 200 pounds and I'm 5'8" and I want to be 200 pounds. No, it's not all that. They have a bunch of different workouts. They have a bunch of nutrition aspects on bodybuilding.com. They have the bodybuilding if that's what you want to get into, but they also have means to just maintain what you have or to lose weight. They have all of it on bodybuilding.com. So go there, look up exercises, educate yourselves, and then don't worry about if people are looking down on you.
Okay.
The whole point of being in the weight room is to get stronger, to be better, to lose that weight, to do whatever your goal is. So get out and do it.
Yeah. Get out there.
Yeah.
You just threw a chair across the studio like, yeah, bodybuilding, working out, woo!
Yeah.
All right. Well, good.
There you go.
Good. Yeah, Connor Christensen, the official trainer of the Baxter Grad Sports Show. You can follow him on Twitter at ConnorDC126. Make sure to check him out. Yeah, you really got to dust off your Twitter account.
Yeah, I'll get
We said
it.
that he'd be tweeting out fitness tips and things of that nature, and have yet to see a tweet.
Yeah,
but,
not too good about that.
I'll
I'll start up.
Okay. All right.
Some-
We'll see
doing some
exactly.
tweets.
You might have some stuff to tweet out too, especially if you crush Zach this week in our trivia contest. We're going to take a fast break. Zach is in studio. It's going to be Zach, Connor, and Megan in a trivia showdown for the ages. Don't go anywhere. This is the Baxter Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Welcome back to the Baxter Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Zach, you found a third V word for Connor.
Yeah.
Please tell us what it was.
So the word that popped in my head right away was variegated.
Variegated.
Just popped right in your head.
Yeah, it just popped right in my head.
Of course. How could I not?
Connor, you had one job.
I don't know.
Term used in botany to describe leaves that have green and white. So,
Interesting.
of
Okay.
two natures.
Of two natures. Okay. Well, interesting. Well, Zach, you are the two-time Baxter Grant Sports Show trivia champion. You will be challenged by Connor and Megan this week. You will each get 5 questions in succession. You'll answer all 5 of your questions in a row. You will step
signed up for 3.
You will step into the box here, into my lair. You will answer your 5 questions, and then you will leave. And then we will see what happens. And then if there's a tie, we'll figure it out. Intern Laura will flip a coin. I'm not exactly sure. We'll figure something out. So, Megan, ladies first, as always, please step in. Are you ready?
I think so. Yeah.
You all right over there, Laura? Laura just fell. I don't know. It's first day on the job, I guess. It's too early to be drinking, Laura. All right. So, Megan, your first question. These are 90% NFL questions, but there are some other general sports knowledge
All right.
not thrown in. So, first question. What team did former Tennessee Titans wide receiver Kenny Britt sign with in 2014? The Chiefs, the Lions, the Rams, or the Dolphins?
The Rams?
That is correct. Megan with 1 point. All right, your next question. What city is home to the Pistons? Boston, Detroit, Houston, or Brooklyn?
Challenge me, Baxter. Detroit.
Okay, she's awfully confident this morning. All right, I'm just going in order with the questions. You can't... Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Your third question. Raging Bull was the nickname of which boxing legend?
Oh, boy.
Muhammad Ali, you said to challenge you.
Yeah.
Pernell Whitaker, James Douglas, or Jake LaMotta?
What was the second guy's name?
Pernell Whitaker.
Sure, go with him.
Incorrect. That happens. You told me to challenge you, and then I
I
challenge
know.
you, and then you disappoint me.
Can I ask who it was?
It was Jake LaMotta. Jake LaMotta. I don't know. I got that question wrong when I tried to do it as well. All right. Your next question, if it'll load here. Which NFL quarterback set a record by throwing for 373 yards in a single half in 2008? Tom Brady, Jake Plummer, Drew Brees, or Kurt Warner?
Kurt Warner?
It is correct. 3 points for Megan. Your final question is... What team name is associated with Los Angeles in Major League Soccer? The Galaxy, the Universe, the Stars, or Milky Way?
The Galaxy.
That is correct. 4 points for Megan. She set a high bar.
Oh, man.
All right, Zach.
You're not supposed to put it on easy until I get up here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like you should go last, Zach, actually, since you are the
You
rating
said
champ.
ladies first, so I...
Oh, you're so kind, Connor.
Just messing with
All right.
All in
Connor.
Okay. Woo!
Question number 1. In honor of Grant.
Okay.
In the NHL,
Oh, great.
where is the team with the nickname the Red Wings located? Detroit, New Jersey, Buffalo, or Boston?
I'm gonna say.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Boston because I saw.
Incorrect. That was incorrect. Oh, my Lord. All right.
Baxter, you gotta not
Question
show
two.
me the iPad.
Well, that was incorrect, though.
I
So-
know. I said that
I
because
know.
I saw the right answer.
All right. Second question. The Orioles in MLB are located in what city?
Great.
Baltimore, Boston, Toronto, or New York?
Boston?
Incorrect. Oh boy, this is getting quite an interesting one.
Give me football questions.
A football question? Yeah, yep. Here we go. All right. Who is the youngest player? Who is the player that became the youngest to catch 800 catches by 2013? Or 800 receptions, I'm sorry. Marvin Harrison, Andre Johnson, Donald Driver, or Larry Fitzgerald? Who became the youngest player to achieve 800 receptions by 2013?
What were the first two names?
Marvin Harrison, Andre Johnson, Donald Driver, Larry Fitzgerald.
I'm gonna say Andre Johnson.
That is incorrect.
Ah.
It was Larry.
Really?
Larry
Wow,
Fitzgerald.
Nice job, Larry.
Yep. Question number 4 for Connor. Which New England Patriots defensive back returned an interception 47 yards for a touchdown in Super Bowl 36? Otis Smith, Ty Law, Terrell Buckley, or Patrick Pass?
Wow. Give me the names again.
Otis Smith, Ty Law, Terrell Buckley, Patrick Pass.
We'll go with Otis Smith.
Incorrect. It was Ty Law.
I've never heard of any of them.
All right, here is one question remaining for you, sir. How many points is the black ball worth in snooker? 7, 5, 1, or 3? I saved this question just for you.
I play pool, not snooker.
So, you've studied the snooker
I
arts.
have not. Let's go with. I'm gonna say 5.
Oh, incorrect.
It was
Connor's
3,
got a
wasn't it?
fat goose egg. It was 7.
It was 7. Wow.
7.
I don't know my snooker.
All right, so Zach apparently thinks he's already got a 4-point lead because he got 4 out of Connor's 5 questions correct, in his brain at least. But Zach, Megan's got 4 correct answers. You got to get at least 4. So you
I knew I should have gone.
well, just that's how it is. You have to don't be the champion next week, and maybe that'll help.
I might
All right.
not be.
Now we'll see. First question for you. Jack Nicklaus has won how many U.S. Masters? 5, 6, 8, or 7?
I'm gonna have to say 7.
That is incorrect. It was 6. Joe Wolfrath listening at home, that one was for you. I'm sure you probably like, it's 6!
I'm sorry.
It's 6!
I'm sorry, Joel.
It happens. It's all right. All right. Next question. Who is the New York Jets' all-time leading rusher? Curtis Martin, Thomas Jones, Matt Snell, or Blair Thomas?
Is that Matt Snell?
That is incorrect. You know what that means, Zach?
Who was it?
It was Curtis Martin.
Means I'm not gonna.
That means
be,
you lost. That means Megan wins.
Yeah. All right. Give me the last.
I'll
three
give you your
questions
last
anyway.
3 just to see if you can garnish a little bit of respect and help. The red flag with a diagonal white stripe is a diver down flag. Who would wave this flag? A cliff diver, a skydiver, a dumpster diver, or a scuba diver?
Scuba diver.
Hey, you got one. Yes. You have bested Connor at least, so you have secured the silver medal. So there's that. Your question number 4. And the Tour de France, what color jersey does the overall leader wear? Blue, white, polka dot, or yellow? I would love to see the polka dot, but it's not.
I was just.
I'm just
going to
give you that real quick. It's not polka dot.
It's not polka dot.
Sorry to spoil your. If that was the answer.
I mean, you always saw Lance Armstrong in yellow, but I always thought that's because they had to identify him as the guy that's cheating.
Oh.
Like a penalty flag.
There's that. Yeah, sure.
I've been wearing yellow.
So blue, white, or yellow, Zach?
I'll go with yellow.
That is correct. Yep, that was definitely what it was. All right, Zach, your final question. Where'd it go? There it is. Which quarterback has the most career Super Bowl interceptions? Bart Starr, Joe Montana, Kerry Collins, or John Elway? I was surprised by this, actually, when I found out the answer. Bart Starr, Joe Montana, Kerry Collins, John Elway.
It's between Elway and Starr.
Okay, well, who is your...
I don't know.
Who's yours?
I'm going to go with Bart Stark.
That
You
is
said you were
incorrect.
surprised.
It was John.
It was John
Johnny Elway, yep. So, unfortunately, Zach, the king has fallen. You got 2 points. Megan is our winner. She has 4, so congratulations, Megan. You have 1 minute of... yes, you have 1 minute of free airtime. You can say anything you want. Go.
Anything I want
Anything
to?
you want.
Okay, so I recently read an article about the Chicago Bears.
Bears.
Apparently, the veterans are not going to be upset if Brandon Marshall leaves. And as a Packer fan, I have to say that I think it's hilarious because I thoroughly enjoy any bit of drama that the Chicago Bears are willing to give me. So, they're just... It's a continuous disaster, and there's just no help there. I don't know.
Few things
So-
in life make Packer fans more excited than seeing Bear fans in misery.
Yeah,
Aside from
it's
crying
wonderful.
Lion fans and the Vikings, well, we got a ways to go before we're really that worried. But maybe next year we'll see how the Packers decide to, see how they do. The Vikings, they'll probably maybe be second. Hey, maybe. If the Vikings make the playoffs, I will be very happy for you, in total honesty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, yep. Intern Laura, any final thoughts from you today? We appreciate you stopping by on the show today to fill in for any way you can. Any final thoughts? The floor is yours, ma'am.
Well, next week, I think I want to take part in trivia.
You do?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think I do.
Okay, you will have to take on Megan and Zach and potentially Connor if they all decide to show up next week. Megan for sure. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll have to do a playoff between Connor and Zach to see who makes it in. But probably Zach. Yeah, probably Zach.
I'm a really lucky guesser.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I can do this.
You think she can? Okay.
Guesses alone.
Guesses alone. She thinks she can do it. No skill. It might be a bigger trivia next week because we'll probably have Grant back at that point as well. So we'll have to see just exactly how the tides turn. Is there any other jerseys within the NFL that you have any issues with aside from the Steelers, Bumblebee jerseys?
I don't like Vikings jerseys. I
Oh.
don't like Bears jerseys.
What about the Cowboys? Do you
Not
like?
a fan.
Not a fan of
Not a
Cowboys
fan.
jerseys. That Dallas silver. You're
that
not.
big star.
Oh, they just think they're all that in a bag of
Oh,
chips,
yeah.
basically. Interesting. What do you... Connor's on the floor. He's just not happy with it. But I do like Vikings purple. Just as a side note. I think it's a dying art, the purple on sports jerseys. We saw Orlando City. They've got it this year for MLS.
I'm gonna have to say the Vikings jerseys have come a long way. I'll give you that.
A whole nother shade of purple. It's wow. Just the changes they have done to become from a lighter purple to a now more deep, rich purple.
Wow, hold on now.
Whole new level of majestic.
We might need a moment of silence. Okay, that was it. Anyway,
Was that for their playoff hope?
there it is. Oh, man. Well, it has been quite the party this Friday edition on the Baxi Grand Sports Show. Laura, once again, thank you for stopping by and being the wonderful show intern. Do you have a Twitter that people can follow intern Laura on?
I can make one.
That would be probably desired. I know people.
Laura
in-
at Twitter.
There you go. We'll have to figure something out for intern Laura. Never a dull moment on the Baxi Grand Sports Show. This has been another edition presented by Sports Radio America. Remember, you can check us out Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on TuneIn, on Sports Radio America, on iTunes, and on Spreaker. Remember to like the Baxi Grand Sports Show Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at BG Sports Show. And if you got any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, or any other thing you want to throw at us, email us at bgsportshow@gmail.com. For Grant Coppersmith, who is MIA today, but he is off on assignment and will return on Monday. The great man shall return on Monday. This is Baxter Colburn. Have a terrific weekend. Thank you again to Zach, Connor, Megan, and intern Laura for stopping by today. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Don't have too much fun, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have a great weekend, everyone.